want to switch gears and tell you about President Trump, scheduled to arrive at the United Nations headquarters in the next hour to chair a panel on world drug prices and the crisis. Last night, the president touched down in New York City. He met with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. I spoke with National Security Advisor and former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, on Sunday Morning Futures, about what to expect from President Trump this week.
His General Assembly speech on Tuesday that you mentioned will talk a lot about American sovereignty, how that fits into America's place in the world as a whole. In addition, there's a Security Council meeting on Wednesday where he'll talk about his non-proliferation policies dealing with the nuclear threats of North Korea and Iran. I think the president will have a chance to show how full the international agenda is and how active he has been in each of these different areas.
Joining us right now is former State Department senior advisor under President Trump and President George W. Bush, former Deputy Special Envoy for Human Rights in North Korea, Christian Whiton. Christian, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. What do you think should be the priority in terms of the Trump administration when you've got all of these global leaders in the same room this week at the UN?
Yeah, it's always an unruly confab of people, all the hotel rooms in New York, limos, call girls, very busy this week. It's sort of the pinnacle of that sort of diplomatic circuit. I think what should and will be the highlights will be North Korea, Iran, and trade. Those are in the news. Those will probably dominate the president's speech on Tuesday. And then Iran in particular will be in the headlines when the president chairs the actual Security Council. The U.S. has the rotating chair this month, coincidentally, and so he'll be able to set the agenda and really drive the discussion Wednesday.
Okay, and you know, last year the president made a speech, I guess, and talked a lot about North Korea. That's where we heard the first term "rocket man," and actually he got some high marks for his speech on foreign policy. Are you expecting a similar showing this year, or what would be the most important that we need to focus on from the president?
Yeah, I think, Trump has actually breathed life into the UN by being very critical of it. And by, if you look what the difference of a year has made, being a very tough posture on North Korea, what that has gotten. It's not perfect, but North Korea is at the negotiating table, isn't testing nukes or nuclear missiles. And I think hopefully, there's the opportunity. You could see a year from now Iran in a very different position. It's impossible to sort of put a dictatorship on a schedule, if you will, but the amount of pressure the United States is bringing, it's also important to show that we're not going to back down. China thinks we're going to lose our political nerve and throw in the towel on tougher trade relationships. Also, our European allies, such as they are, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, are working against us on stronger sanctions on Iran to change its behavior. So hopefully they come out of this UN General Assembly with an understanding that we are not going to back down. And also, we have very strong backing from all of our Middle East allies on the president's Iran approach.
Well, John Bolton was adamant yesterday with me, basically saying, look, there are more sanctions should Iran not behave accordingly. I want to turn to the escalating trade tensions, though, with China. A fresh round of tariffs taking effect between the world's two largest economies. The Trump administration imposed a new 10% tariff on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods just after midnight last night. China retaliated immediately. They've got taxes on $60 billion worth of American products, including clothing and auto parts. But, when I spoke with National Security Advisor John Bolton yesterday, he said this is more than just economic issues. This is about military power on Sunday Morning Futures. Listen to this.
This is not just talking about tariffs in the terms of trade. This is a question of power. The intellectual property theft that you mentioned has a major impact on China's economic capacity and therefore on its military capacity. And I think the president correctly understands that when China gets economic power by stealing from the United States and others, it's time to call a stop to it.
So, Christian, China steals from America, becomes strengthened, and then goes out in the South China Seas and creates islands, and then put military bases on those islands, which didn't exist. The China State Council is accusing the Trump administration of being a trade bully. Meanwhile, your thoughts on all of this?
Well, Bolton's absolutely right that this isn't just enriching China. The bill of goods that our elite and Wall Street sold us over the decades, that trading with China would liberalize China, that economic liberalization, which hasn't honestly occurred because, as you point out, they steal our intellectual property left and right, would lead to political liberalization, hasn't happened. Instead, we've enriched our greatest adversary in the world. They've done what you said in the South China Sea. They're also engaging in economic political warfare across much of now South Asia and elsewhere in the Pacific. They've bought the most sophisticated weapons they have. The sanctions are good. They're a good start. The 10% is actually going to have a minimal impact on China because China has already devalued the the yuan almost that much since about February when sanctions started. But come January, the sanctions that went into effect today go from 10% to 25%. And also Trump has threatened to sanction the other one half of Chinese imports that haven't yet faced higher tariffs. So this is coming. It's going to be consistent. The Chinese canceled talks this week on trade because, again, they think Trump's going to lose his nerve. There's going to be some political change here, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're finally fighting back.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We just spoke with the market watcher, Phil Orlando from Federated Investors, and he said that the risk is on the upside for the economy because if President Trump actually is real successful with some of these trade deals, markets are going to rip and roar, and that's the risk on the upside that the Federal Reserve raises interest rates too much because things are going so well. But, Christian, at some point, the markets and investors and the world, America really, is going to need to see more trade deals on the board. So how long can this go on without a deal between China and the U.S.? Because it doesn't feel like China's backing down either.
My view is contrarian. I think it'll go on for years because I think China in its current political system, especially where its dictator or strongman Xi Jinping is right now, having just accrued a lot of power and really unable to sort of back down at this point. So I think it goes on, but that doesn't mean we won't be making great trade deals elsewhere. And who knows? China may come to Jesus, may do the right thing. But I think Canada will shortly give in if it's smart with negotiations over NAFTA. If not, we'll just proceed with just Mexico. The EU, I think, is at the negotiating table. They've been stalling. They're trying to stall from this fall until next spring. But, you know, the Trump is going to keep the pressure on, and I think that signal coming out of this week will cause more people to, you know, realize that we are serious about normalizing and regularizing trade with equitable tariffs.
What about Turkey? The American pastor being held in Turkey. Now, Turkish officials are signaling that Andrew Brunson may be released at the next court appearance. That happens on October 12th, but only if the U.S. eases its pressure campaign on the country. It's according to the Wall Street Journal this morning. Your thoughts? What should be the U.S.'s move here?
This is a great sign, and I think we can stand by until October 12th and see and let the Turks do the right thing. The charges against Brunson are totally phony. They say he was involved somehow in the attempted coup, which failed against Erdogan. They should just need to let him out. This pressure is, in addition to diplomatic pressure, which we often do, also was trade pressure. We raised tariffs under Section 232. Their steel and aluminum tariffs we've placed globally were doubled on Turkey. That's what's brought them to this point. So another sign that strength actually can get you something. So hopefully they do the right thing. If not, then tariffs could go up still farther. Turkey's also paid a big price because when those tariffs went on, the lira shot down.
All right, a lot of things on the agenda. Christian, good to have your insights. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Christian Whiton joining us there.